方面的技术的尝试，还有别的方面的信息。然后呢，我是因为很多术语都是英文嘛，所以我就准备用英文来讲。然后因为本来我也是广东人，所以这个普通话也讲得不怎么样，现在有个借口。其实英文也讲得不是很好，但是起码是一直都是这样讲。Okay, so today's topic is the world of exchanges, electronic trading technologies, and ICE. Okay, and so I'm going to talk about how exchange works and how technology is applied in exchange and how electronic trading impact the world of exchange business. And at the end, I'm going to talk a little bit about the company I'm working at, Intercontinental Exchange, also called ICE. Okay, first briefly about me a little bit. And I have worked in the financial trading system for about 15 years. Actually, not at ICE, but I have worked for other companies. I have worked for ICE for about 5 years. So 15 years. Actually, when I write it down, it seems kind of long, but when I look at my gray hair, I thought that maybe I can put 20 years or something. So it's getting old. So I have worked on my first job actually is on the online stock brokerage. And then I work at the bond trading marketplace where people can trade bonds. And then I work at futures exchange. So I joined Intercontinental Exchange, ICE, 2005. And currently I'm the director of market data over there. So the first question is that what's an exchange, right? Exchange is basically, I got this from Wiki, by the way, so it's highly organized market where securities, commodity, foreign exchange, futures, and options contracts are sold and bought. That's the key. And so an exchange will bring brokers, dealers, all of them together. Something special about exchange is that when you and I trade through the exchange, there's a clearinghouse behind it, meaning that if you are the seller, I'm the buyer, actually we don't know each other, but once the transaction is done, the clearinghouse is guaranteed that the money will transfer. So that's something unique about exchange. And other than the regular exchange, there's something called over-the-counter. I don't know if you have heard of it. Basically, meaning that, for example, like your company, have stocks, right? Maybe it's not public yet, so it's not listed in NASDAQ or something. But actually, there's a place where you can trade. It's called over-the-counter kind of transaction. So I'm not going to get into detail to it, but for that kind of transaction, there's less protection when, say that I buy from you, and we have a deal, and then tomorrow you said, sorry, I don't have money, and there's no clearinghouse to guarantee the transaction. So that is the difference, one of the difference between an exchange and the regular OTC transaction. But recently, even with OTC, it can also be clear through clearinghouse. So it can be kind of not very clear cut. So I want to talk about like how trading is done, right? So probably you have seen a picture like this, like the traders are all over the places. Actually, I'm going to show you a video here. So if you want to know how the exchange is done, actually this is shoot at our trading floor a few years ago. So you see the sign there, all of a sudden it hit, and then, you know, okay. So that's it. So it's kind of chaotic, right? If you're seeing, you know, TV or something about trading floor, and you know, people screaming at each other, they're showing signs and everything, and sometimes you'll be curious, like how can they do business? There are like 100 people there yelling at each other. Actually, one of the guys who worked at our company and used to work at the trading floor, and he told me the trick is that actually if you see this guy is showing the sign, he's only looking at a couple of people. So he's not like look at everybody. They only trade with a couple of guys. So that's how I know that, oh, okay, so actually that's how it works. So see, now it's more like this, right? It's a little bit order, and then everybody have 4 screens over there, and it's a little bit high tech. And then this, you know, and a lot of trading is done by computers, and nobody is there. And the thing is that, you know, no matter how it's done, before and after, you know, some win and some lose. That's just the way it is. And, you know, before and after, it's this, every exchange there's up and down, you know. Looks like those monks really enjoy the ride. So, electronic trading, okay. Sometimes it's called e-trading. It's basically a method to trade securities like stocks or bonds, foreign currency, and exchange traded derivatives electronically. And of course, use information technology to bring the buyers and sellers together. Okay, NASDAQ was set up in 1971. Actually, they were the first electronic stock market. Even though that initially you cannot trade through, it's more like an electronic bulletin board. But later in the 90s, they offer something called straight-through processing. So what are the benefits from electronic trading? The first benefit is reduced cost of transactions, because you can automate, right? Otherwise, all the transactions have to be done manually. You know, think about like tens of thousands, millions of deals. It could be expensive. So greater liquidity, because it's a lot easier to trade, right? I remember that I came to the US like in 1991, and then at that time it's hard to trade, because when you need to trade like stock, you need to have a broker and have a broker account. And now all you need to do is just e-trade.